The Montgomery County RainScapes program offers rebates to homeowners who install watershed-friendly techniques. Here's Program Manager Ann English to tell us more about RainScapes.
RainScapes is a way to landscape your yard and your business, your church, in a way that reduces stormwater runoff and promotes native habitat. Typically people have a drainage problem they're trying to solve. And then they would apply to say, I know I want to do some sort of project after they've looked at our project list. We would send a planner out to their property to evaluate if that's a good project or if there's something better. And then once that's approved, we would ask for a planting plan or some sort of site plan. And then we expect people to get it done, and then they turn in their receipts. They sign a property owner agreement. And after the final inspection and acceptance, then we would issue a check. For example, a typical rain garden, you can get up to $1,200 back. It's all based on receipts. Up to $2,500 on a property for residential. If it's HOA or congregational land or commercial property, it's up to $10,000. So we're trying to get to a goal of 50 impervious acres to reduce runoff to meet our permit requirements, which is regulated by the state through the Clean Water Act.
I am proud to have led our council to adopt first-in-the-nation environmental measures on numerous occasions.
What you want to do is you want to capture rainwater on site and have it go into your garden, if you will, into your rain barrel, into your streetscape, and do it that way as opposed to have it rush down a street and then carry all the sediment with it. So you're trying to avoid sediment being carried into our streams, into our Chesapeake Bay, and holding it on site is a much better way to do it.
So some of the first types of projects people might do is plant a big tree, or they might do a rain barrel project. Those are pretty easy, modular type projects. But if people want to reduce the amount of lawn, they might put in a conservation landscape, or they might put in a rain garden. A couple years ago, we did a sort of publicly accessible RainScape sites, like the Wheaton Triangle. We did a conservation landscape. We've done several school projects, Pinecrest Elementary, Sherwood High School. These all are places where people can go that are publicly accessible. We also have several congregational sites that are now, and we have a congregations page where people can look to find out where they could go someplace close to them. So one of the first things we do is we want to look at where that drop of water first hits the ground. And it hits the ground up on the roof, and in this case it's coming down through a rain chain. Usually it comes down through your gutter. And we talk about a little bit, or a treatment train, which is you catch a little bit at the very beginning. And in this garden, you can see they've done a sort of a dry stream bed effect, but the water can spill out as it goes away from the roof into the landscape. Some of the plants that are less tasty to deer are some of the sedges, which are these bluish green things and these little tufts that will fill in and make a mass. This winterberry holly with all these beautiful red fruits, this is a very important food source for birds in the winter when there's not much else to eat. And there are other things in this garden like the Lobelias, which are these blue and white flowers that are hummingbird attractors. And you can see, if you get close, there's a little bee that's tucked in, he's eating. I want to point out this passiflora vine, or also called passion flower. It's on the shrub, and it's the larval food for the Gulf fritillary butterfly. This plant likes the wet conditions that are created by the downspout rain chain, and so it's a great harmony with nature within the landscape. We're trying to make this act more like a forest. So our lawns don't act like a forest, but our streams developed in a forest habitat. So by adding in the plants that would grow in a forest, that would grow in this type of watershed, we actually are able to soak up and act like a sponge and improve the water quality before it ever gets to the stream. Walking on a permeable pavement driveway, this is another type of RainScape that really works well in lots that don't have a lot of room to do other things where they need parking. So all the water comes down, it comes through the downspouts, and then it comes into the base of the side of the driveway in addition to what falls on it. And so it stores a lot of water and safely moves it away and allows it to soak into the ground. These are very easy to walk on. They have less icing problems in the winter. If you had a plow, you could plow it, you could snow blow it, and then you just have to keep the leaves off it in the fall. and then do pretty much annual maintenance on it. But really not very much. Our rebate covers the difference between a paver driveway and a permeable paver driveway. These driveways really represent hope for lots that couldn't really do much of anything else to reduce runoff from their property. Can you explain how you wanted a rain garden here? What happened in all the time you've lived here and runoff and what's been happening here?
The runoff from those houses over there has created a flood situation coming down through here. That water rolls down here, rolls through my neighbor's yard here, and then runs right down here, washing out my gardens in here, and then rolling down the street here. It takes small children and dogs. And in a good soaking rain before this, you could be standing ankle deep in water that was running pretty fast.
Wow.
What was done here has effectively solved my problem. So, and
that's great.
On top of that, it's helping the bay.
Yeah, win-win.
Win-win.
The landscaper that people work with needs to be familiar with our program requirements, and we do offer training for landscape professionals, and it's free training. We're also working with Montgomery College so that the training can be offered more often.
I originally went to a meeting across the street that RainScapes had and got the idea from them. They came over, looked at the property, said what could be done and where it could be done. And then I got American Plant Food to come in and actually install the garden.
Once it's an approved plan, we work with whoever the person is hired to do the landscaping. So you've made a really nice sponge. It'll soak up.
My objective was to keep this water
Right.
from running onto that street. I'm thankful that RainScapes was able to provide me financial assistance. I ended up getting almost enough money to completely cover
Right.
what they did here.
You know, we have a cash incentive, but really people want a solution that works. Isn't it great that we live in a county that we are actually proactively working to save our streams?
I think if everybody does a little bit, that we might be able to help the bay get better. Just hope that this program continues and maybe even expands. It's nice to have a county that cares.
Yeah.